So this video is probably going to annoy you, and I'm probably going to talk smack about a film you really like, so sorry? But do you ever watch a movie, sit through all the credits, and then suddenly realise nothing's actually happened? Like, you just spent the last 2 hours watching a guy stare out of a window while synth music played, and now people are telling you it's a masterpiece. Yeah, it's becoming a real problem, and I think it needs to be talked about. These are movies that don't so much tell a story as they do gently hover near the concept of one. Hoping you'll be too mesmerised by all the pretty lights to notice that nothing's actually happening. They look incredible, sound incredible, and yet, when you try to explain why they're good, all you can come up with is, oh no, it's the vibes man, you don't get it. Take Drive for example. It was sold to us as a high-octane action thriller, but most of the time, Ryan Gosling just sits silently in dimly lit rooms, looking like he's waiting for his cue to blink. Yes, anytime now Ryan, you stay ready. Yes, there's violence, and yeah, there's a couple of pretty good car chases. But let's be honest, most of it is just Mr. Gosling brooding in his cool scorpion jacket like an extremely well-dressed wax figure. It is a pretty cool jacket though. Like there's a moment where he and Carey Mulligan are sitting in a car listening to synth pop, and we're meant to believe that this is the height of emotional connection. I mean, yeah, sure, it's a pretty scene, but if you swapped out the soundtrack for some corporate ad jingle, you'd quickly realise that, yet again, nothing's actually happening.
Better deal than 0% APR on certified pre-owned vehicles. For trucks tougher than a drunk Marine, come to Mike's Pre-Owned, where we do the things that get things done.
And this stings me to say, because genuinely I really like Drive. Regardless of anything else, that soundtrack, it slaps. Then there's Lost in Translation, where Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson exchange melancholic glances while doing absolutely nothing of consequence. Are they in love? Are they just lonely? Or is this just a very long, very expensive tourism ad for Tokyo? The film's entire emotional climax is a whispered line of dialogue we never actually get to hear. A genius move, because it let everyone pretend something profound was said when, realistically, Bill Murray probably just muttered, "Try the room service," or "Hey, the breakfast bar is good," or "I hate Mondays." I don't know. Garfield. And let's talk about the Neon Demon, which is what happens when a music video decides it wants to be a movie, but forgets that movies, they usually have a plot. The undisputed king of vibe films, Nicholas Winding Refn, took a blender, threw in high fashion, eerie lighting, and characters who speak in long, stilted pauses, and then, well, he plumb forgot to hit the story button. The film thinks it's making some sort of statement about the beauty industry, but let's be honest, it's mostly just admittedly beautifully lit scenes of Elle Fanning looking vaguely ethereal, while people stare at her like she's a particularly haunting painting. Then there's The Revenant. God, this is going to really annoy some people. Which is less of a film and more of a survival challenge where we are all forced to endure Leonardo DiCaprio's misery as some form of sadomasochistic voyeurism. Yes, the cinematography is breathtaking, but that's because Emmanuel Lubezki shot the entire thing like a nature documentary, where the main subject happens to be a man getting repeatedly pummeled by the elements. And while that can be pretty cool, it's honestly a movie where the most exciting plot point is man eats raw bison liver, and people convinced themselves it was some sort of masterpiece because watching Leo suffer for 3 hours made them feel like they too had achieved something. But hey, he finally got his Oscar for it, so what do I know? And of course we have Blade Runner 2049, a film so in love with itself that even the androids seem tired of existing. Ooh, I can already envisage your pitchforks as I say this. It's visually stunning, sure, but it spends so much time contemplating its own importance that by the time you get to the third lingering shot of Ryan Gosling, who's quickly becoming the clown prince of vibes, staring into the void, you start to wonder if you yourself are the replicant. It's a film about the human soul that is ironically completely emotionally detached. It takes the existential musings of the original and stretches them to near parody levels, proving that even in a dystopian future, people will still find time to sulk in the rain for dramatic effect. Defenders of these films will tell you that they're meditative or atmospheric, which is a polite way of saying slow and emotionally vague. They reward passivity, inviting audiences to project their own interpretations onto what is essentially a beautifully framed blank canvas. Like, I genuinely don't want to talk down to anyone who enjoys these films, and this video is just a bit of fun to be controversial, but I do think sometimes people mistake ambiguity for depth, as though refusing to say anything clearly automatically makes something profound. In reality, these movies are usually just underwritten, over-directed, and too self-serious to realise that a cool colour palette isn't a substitute for storytelling. And the greatest trick these films pull, convincing their audiences that if you don't like them, you just don't get it. This is the ultimate cinematic safety net. If a film is obscure enough, it becomes impervious to criticism. You didn't connect with the story? Well, maybe you're not supposed to. The truth is far simpler. Some movies are just a vibe, and nothing more. And in my opinion, it's not enough. Well, if this doesn't end my career on YouTube, I don't know what will. But if you're still here, what's your favourite vibe film? Please let me know in the comments below, and please for the love of God be kind, or I will cry. And while you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe for plenty more videos on all things film and TV. Check out our video game channel, UDS Gaming, and you can always visit UpsideDownShark.com to keep up with everything else we've got going on. Until then, my name is Tom, this has been UDS, and we'll see you next time. Bye!